Alright guys, real quick, I'm back here with the Sears Craftsman LTX1000 and I'm still having an issue that even though I disengage, okay, I replaced the clutch cable because it snapped, but even when I disengage this, okay, unfortunately the blades are still engaged. Not full speed, but they're still engaged. So I followed obviously Tarl's video. I dropped the deck, okay. Obviously when you drop the deck, you're going to pull out all these cotter pins. You're going to have 4 on one side and you're going to have 5 on the other, because this is for the clutch cable. The other 4, a good tip I did pick up too is leave these front pieces on, because it's a great way to grip it and be able to carry this. So needless to say, this is the new belt. Okay, following a bunch of videos and obviously Tarl's, this is all free. Okay, this moves great. So my last shot, and the only thing that it can possibly be, are these brake arms. And here's one brake arm here, and the second brake arm, which is underneath. So I'm also going to replace, I'll show you the part number. Okay, I got all this directly from Sears. I'm going to replace this spring as well. And I do put anti-seize on everything to make sure it stays. Here's the arm brake assembly, and there's the part number. With the spring, you have to order separately. It does not come. Now, I got mine from Sears. Yes, I know they're cheaper on Amazon, but I don't know. I didn't want to take a chance and get the wrong part, so I think they're about $19 each. Again, the arm brake assembly, and then that's the spring. And then the purpose, of course, so I'm going to replace this. Okay, obviously whenever you work with the springs, of course, make sure you wear goggles. Obviously this screw is going to come off. This screw here with a ratchet, I'm going to slowly take the spring off here. All of my pulleys move freely without any noise, but again, the problem I'm having is that this is always engaged. Not fully, but even when I'm in neutral, the blades are still spinning. And in fact, it was bad enough today to the point that I could not even start the tractor. I had to drop the deck, and then it fired right up. The only reason mine red, because I painted it red. Yes, I know normally it's a gold color, but this is the LTX1000 with the Kohler 18 horsepower overhead valve cam engine, and the engine runs great. She's from 2002 and she purrs like a kitten, but I just don't know why this is engaged. So the only other thing that I'm thinking that it can be is that it's the wrong belt. I know it's the right belt part number, but somehow maybe the belt is just enough, or it's just too short. I don't know that it's staying engaged. So if it doesn't work by me changing the brake arms, I changed the ground belt. I have a new ground belt on. That's been done, but you can see I've dropped the deck. And again, I did change this cable. Just a quick note, if you're ever doing this, the spring, in fact, you can see the spring that's there. That is not the spring that Sears sends you. Okay, unfortunately, so I had to rig it, but you can see the spring here. I had to add this large washer in here to keep it in place. So it goes up and down and obviously engages the kill switch, but other than that it would not work. So just a quick tip, if you order that spring, the one they send you is twice the size of the original that comes off, so you have to rig it. And I ordered twice. It is the right part number. Unfortunately, Sears sends you the wrong one. I gotta get a hold of Sears and try to figure that out, but anyway, I'm gonna check back in. I got my gas turned off. She's gonna sit. So again, I'm just gonna replace these 2 brake arms. This I've all lubed up again. This moves nicely and engages, okay, like it's supposed to. I got my new belt on. Make sure, obviously, I always suggest take photos as you go, which of course I'm going to do. And make sure, again, when you put this piece back, it goes all the way up against this arm, because this slides back and forth. So when you do tighten this one down here, okay, just make sure it's all the way up against. That way it doesn't rub up against anything, and you'll see it will work. So let me change these arms and then figure out what the heck is going on, and hopefully that is it. Otherwise, like I said, I'm going to have to try a different belt. I mean, this is a brand new belt. It's the right part number, but that's my only other guess, is that somehow the belt is just not the right length. somehow it's either too long or too short, and it's keeping this engaged even when it's sitting here. And you can see it does move, but I'm not sure what's hanging it up. So I'll check back in a few minutes, guys, and like I said, after I get these parts changed, and then we'll fire it up and keep my fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so back real quick, I replaced the arms. Now, what might be good news, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is hopefully you can see. Apologize, let me focus in on here. These definitely are worn. Alright, so hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, this was the problem. Okay, if you can even see there. In fact, it's almost down all the way to the metal. Okay, on both of them. So this one was completely worn down. Again, there's the part number. Alright, the other one, the same thing. You can actually see the grooves in there. Really worn down. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and say this was the problem, I hope. Just to let you know, again, there was the old spring, and there's the clutch spring. I love the anti-seize lubricant. That's what I've done everything on. And again, the goal here, it moves nice and freely now. Okay, the spring is on here. That's awesome. Replaced the spring on here. Again, lubed it all up. My last spring that I have to put on. Yes, definitely. I have goggles on. Always make sure. This one just hooks right in here. And you're going to take your needle nose pliers. Okay, and then there we go. And now, if everything goes well, okay, and the only tools you really need for this, 1/2-inch ratchet. 1/2-inch is for almost all of these, including that. Okay, most of these are 1/2-inch, and that one too. Needle nose pliers, regular nose pliers are going to help pulling these back on here and here. So, to this point, I've replaced, lubed everything. I'm going to put my belt back on. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Again, all these spin well. Okay, so that would be the last thing I guess I would have to do if this doesn't work, is just replace those, but they're not making any noise. The spring is in. It's all lubed up. Okay, my wheels look good. Okay, these feel good. They're all tight. And I'm going to put my belt back on. I'm going to drop the deck back in. I'll check back in. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. So hopefully, again, it's these brake arms. That was the problem of why I was not disengaging. Okay. When I did tighten these, just a quick FYI, I did tighten them down, but not all the way, because then this wasn't moving very freely. But you'll feel that it's pretty tight, and the same with this one. If you have to, of course, you can take these covers off. We'll take this one cover off if you have to get access to it. But it should be pretty good to go. So I'll check back in a minute. Again, there's my tractor. I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to work my belt back on and get cleaned up, and then try to fire this thing up and see what goes on, and keep my fingers crossed. Again, if you need a quick pick, you know, hopefully, again, you're putting it back together. This is what it should look like. Okay, all put in. Again, don't forget the retention spring. Again, when you mount this one back on, it goes right up against this piece, and then you can tighten it. And just really make sure you put anti-seize on every washer. This one had 2 washers. This one just had 1. Okay, so just keep your eye on that when you're taking that apart, and then keep our fingers crossed, guys, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, well, quickly, I'm at the moment of truth. I got the deck back in. I got the new brakes on. Again, here are the old parts, both brakes. The old springs, it's all lubed up. The belt is on. I have not tested it yet, so let me give this a shot. Fuel on. All right, let me grab my keys, and you guys will be able to sit here and see if that actually worked. All right, so clutch off, choke on. Let's cross our fingers. I hate to say that's not it, but as you can see, blades are still going. So guys, I don't know. I'm gonna try to order a new belt. I did get an aftermarket belt. I don't know if that's it. I just can't figure out why else. This is, you know, this is pretty tight. But I don't know. Let me shut my fuel off. Why this is happening. So again, if anybody has any ideas, let me know. I just don't know what else it could be at this point. Why this is staying engaged. But anyway, guys, please post any comments below. Any help you can give, I appreciate it. And try to figure out, because I've done everything that I can think of at this point. Thanks, guys.